Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is dustinkreis and today we're going to do a pickups video, and this has the potential to be a very boring pickups video if you're here for video games, because I actually kind of took the month or however long it's been since the last video. I took that time off from really collecting video games to work on a separate collection, and if you like this thing that makes up that separate collection, then there's a lot of stuff here to see. But yeah, just video games I kind of just took a break on, so this might be a boring one for some of you guys out there, but for the rest of you, there might be something here that you are interested in. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video games here, and I picked up 7 games. And the first one I actually bought on the Nintendo eShop, and I saw it, I don't remember where I saw this game was coming out. But the game is Summer Carnival 1992 Rekka, and it's a shmup on the eShop, the virtual console for the NES. And this thing is ridiculous. When you see this in action, this game in action, you won't believe it's an NES game just because the amount of sprites are on the screen, how little flicker there is, and just how fast the game runs. It's a really fun shmup, but it's a really hard sort of old school shmup. So, I think it's $6. Definitely go online, check out Summer Carnival 1992 Rekka. You can just type in RECCA, and it should bring it up. Or it might be right there in the new releases, because it was just released like September 10th. So, definitely check that out. But of the other games that I picked up, really, there was only one setting here for a while. And finally I went to GameStop and they lowered some prices on some things, so I did pick up some games there. But this was the only game I picked up for a while, and that was Contact on the DS. I just saw it at the half-price books, and it was kind of a decent price, so I picked it up. And I think this is a very quirky, sort of weird RPG on the system, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this is all about. It kind of has an Earthbound look to it. So if you like that aesthetic, you might want to check this out, or check out some videos on gameplay to make sure it's something that you'd be interested in. But yeah, you know, just kind of a throwback to the old 16-bit RPGs. And working on filling in some holes in the sort of modern collection here. Finally picked up Dishonored. Steven and I were talking about this, and he kind of sold me on it in that it kind of has a Bioshock-esque gameplay. And I'm actually going back through Bioshock Infinite right now. And I really love Bioshock Infinite. You know, I know I didn't pick up Grand Theft Auto 5. Let me just throw that out there now. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you need to pick up this game, it's the best game ever. But I'm really burned out on Grand Theft Auto. I never play the game itself. I just run around and cause mayhem. And for me, that's just not worth paying $60 for. So, you know, I've been going back and playing Bioshock Infinite. And then when he told me that this is kind of like, you know, Bioshock with, you know, in a Victorian era, it kind of sold me on it. Now, I know it's not going to be a one-for-one thing with Bioshock, but actually really looking forward to seeing what this is all about. Picked this up because I recently just kind of fell in love with this developer, and that game is Shadows of the Damned, and I just kind of fell in love with Grasshopper Manufacturer and the Suda51 from Killer is Dead. I almost said Killer 7, which I need to pick that up on the GameCube anyway. But definitely looking forward to this. Steven says it's a better game than Killer is Dead, which I really, really enjoyed Killer is Dead. I need to play Lollipop Chainsaw. I have it, I just haven't got around to playing it. But looking forward to getting into this. Picked this up because it was dirt cheap, and I always kind of wanted to try this series. Picked up Crysis 2 on the PS3. And I remember the first Crysis came out on PC, and people were just like going nuts about the graphics. And of course, this isn't going to be, you know, as graphically amazing as the PC version, but it's still going to be a fun game to play. I don't know if I'll pick up Crysis 3 because a lot of people say Crysis 3 is bad, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one. And then sort of recommendations from some of the other guys that are in the Facebook chat. I picked up F.E.A.R 1 and F.E.A.R 2 on the Xbox 360. And I'll probably pick up F.E.A.R 3 after I play one of these and see what it's all about, because F.E.A.R 3, there's a ton of copies. I mean, there's like 17 copies of it at my GameStop. So I really am not worried about picking that game up. And these were both ridiculously cheap. So I think I paid like $3 a piece for them or something like that. Just, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a generation where games have been as cheap as they are now. Like, you can go in the GameStop and you can walk out there with a stack of games for next to nothing. If you're really adventurous, then you can get, get into a bunch of sort of weird things. But definitely a lot of the better games, you can walk out with a huge stack of better games for next to nothing. So, looking forward to these. I'm not a big first-person shooter fan. I like the genre enough to buy games in it, but I'm more looking forward to these for their sort of scariness. The fear aspect of it. I want to have nightmares of Alma, stalking me around. So that'll be fun to get into. And that is it for the games. That's all the games. So I've not bought any crazy Japanese Saturn games or anything like that. I've really just kind of laid back from the games for a while, which is good because I have all this around me that I need to work on. But I did hit some other things pretty hard. And music, I actually picked up a lot of music. This time, and we'll start off with probably the most anticipated release here, and that is 9 Inch Nails' Hesitation Marks. And this is phenomenal. I love this album through and through. I'm so glad, because when he announced, Trent Reznor announced that 9 Inch Nails was kind of hanging it up, I got kind of sad because this is sort of one of those seminal bands from my teenage years. And, when a band like that kind of hangs it up, you kind of feel very sad about it. But then he brought 9 Inch Nails back out. He's like, oh, time to wake the beast back up. And this is a fantastic album. If you haven't listened to this yet, definitely give it a listen. Picked up some EDM music here. I don't know why, I've just been kind of really getting into it as of late. Picked up Dead Mouse's For Lack of a Better Name. And I've listened to this a few times, and I don't like it as much as Random Album Title. But it's still pretty good. Dead Mouse is one of those artists that really kind of grows on me, and it's after I've listened to a song like 5 or 6 times, and I start getting past the heavy beats and getting back into like the subtle layers behind it. That's when I really start to like Dead Mouse's music. But so I really need to give this a few more listens before I really, make my mind up on it. Finally picked this up. Been meaning to pick this up for a while. Heard these guys first on the Great Gatsby soundtrack and really liked the song they had on it, and that is Nero. And again, I kind of have to give this a few more strong listens because it's not exactly like the song that's on the Great Gatsby soundtrack. There's some connections and stuff, but it's a little bit harder than I thought it would be. But definitely enjoying this as well. And probably out of the 3 sort of EDM albums that I bought, I'm enjoying this one the most, and that's Cascade's new album, Atmosphere. Really kind of surprised with this one because it's much more subtle and subdued than I am kind of used to Cascade being. I'm really kind of used to Cascade making very pretty but very sort of anthem, kind of songs that you just kind of want to shake your body to, and this is a lot more subdued and quiet. So definitely look into this, especially the song "No One Knows Who We Are." When that came on, I just did not believe I was listening to a Cascade album anymore because there's no heavy beats, no nothing. It's just a female vocalist and a piano, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous song. Whew. This might be a long one, I don't know. Still got a lot to go through. Picked this up, and this is pretty friggin' wild. I've been meaning to pick this up for a while, and finally F.E.A.R had it on sale for $7. And that's the Flaming Lips, their cover of the entirety of Dark Side of the Moon. And if you're like me, I'm a huge fan of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. In high school, I used to go to sleep, like at night. I would put it on my album or my stereo and just listen to the entire album while going to bed. That's not to say that it's like a sleep-inducing album, far from it, but it was just so relaxing to me for some reason. And to hear it sort of recreated with this, with guest stars, Henry Rollins does a lot of stuff on it, Peaches, Stardeath and White Dwarfs. I've never heard of those 2 bands before, But this is, pretty freaking crazy, and I love the adventurousness of it, of them reinterpreting Dark Side of the Moon. So definitely check this out if you want to try something a little crazier. And then finally, a new release came out from one of my favorite bands of all time, and it reminded me that I haven't picked up the previous album. The new album is Third Eye Center by Belle and Sebastian, and the previous album is Belle and Sebastian Write About Love. And I love, love, love Belle and Sebastian, and I finally picked this up, and I've been meaning to pick this up for such a long time. But I haven't got around to listen to this one yet, but this is a fantastic little album. I don't know, there's something about Belle and Sebastian, their sort of 60s, 60s folk, mod sound that I love, and it's I don't want to say it is refreshing in this sort of weird musical time to listen to something like that. Okay, 2 more things, and then we get into the big collection update. Pick this up, Dredd. I absolutely love this movie. I love the original Judge Dredd just for its sort of, kitschy aesthetics, and, Sylvester Stallone running around, I am the law! It's just absolutely ridiculous. But this is actually a lot truer to the comic. And the thing I love the most about this is it's not, like, earth-shattering like the first Dredd movie was. Like, it completely shattered that movie's universe. This is just a day in the life of Dredd. Just another job to Dredd. And, just one of his many adventures, and I absolutely love that it doesn't, like, destroy the universe that they've created. It's just a day in the life. And I really hope they make a sequel to this, because it is a phenomenal movie, and it reminds me so much of, like, the old 80s sci-fi action movies. It really has that aesthetic to it, because it's kind of made on the cheap a little bit. So, if you want to see a great movie, go watch Dredd. Great action movie. And another big, great action movie, and it's interesting because these both star Carl Urban, is Star Trek Into Darkness. And this is just the normal, basic DVD version, or Blu-ray version, because they released like 5 or 6 versions of this at different retailers, and they all have like different exclusives. And I just got the feeling that none of these had like deleted scenes or anything like that. And I know what Paramount's going to do. They're going to release all these different versions, and then like a few months down the road, they're going to release an ultimate edition of this that has everything on, one set, and all like the deleted scenes, and maybe even an extended edition. I don't know. But so I just bought the cheapest version that was out there, and I absolutely love this movie. I think it's great. Great action movie, great set pieces. The casting is just spot on as it can be, really, without it looking like, a fan movie or something like that. It evokes the classic TV show, but also takes it in sort of a bold new direction. And I have to respect that. I know some people out there hate these new Star Trek movies, but I'm not one of them. I actually think they're really awesome. Okay, and finally, we're going to go through a major collection update. I really got back into this show, and the last couple pickups videos, I've really been showing off a couple new things here, but I really sort of went crazy. This is where I spent most of my pickups money at, and I really updated my Mystery Science Theater 3000 collection. I'm actually thinking about doing a video just on this show itself. But I picked up the Blu-ray of the movie, and this is worth it for the 30-minute documentary alone, because you don't really see these guys sitting around talking about the show much anymore. And to go back and have them do a documentary about the making of the movie and sort of why the movie failed. It's a great piece on studio intervention and how the studios really just kind of fuck these wonderful little things up. But the movie is still fantastic. It's still really funny, and the documentary it's great just to see these guys nowadays talking about not only the show but the making of the movie as well. So I really hope that one of these, there's the 25th anniversary set getting ready to come out. I really hope they do like just a 2.5 hour documentary over the entire show. That'd be fantastic. Picked up a lot of episodes. Let's try that again. The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies. Yes, that is the title of this movie. And this is one of my favorite episodes out there. picked up The Wild World of Batwoman, which most people say Manos is the worst film that those guys watched, and I think that's become like this, just the standard answer. Oh, Manos is terrible. Manos is like, it's like friggin' Citizen Kane compared to this movie. And the weird thing about this actual release is this is a Mike episode, but on the back they have Joel, and they say Joel is in the episode, but this is a Mike episode. I don't know what the deal is with that. Somebody at Rhino must have got fired for that, but this is definitely one to check out. This is just a bizarre movie. And these are all, well, let's do the other two. Picked up Beginning of the End, which I had this on VHS, but I want to get it on DVD because I don't have a VHS player anymore. And I accused my parents. And I'm trying to get all the old Rhino ones before they get like really hard to find that I don't have in other sets, because some of these other sets from Rhino has because they used to do like the individual VHS releases, and then the DVDs, they did these for a while, and then they did these next ones, which are the box sets, which I have Volume 6, which has Attack of the Giant Leeches, Gunslinger, Mr. B's Lost Shorts, which is just a collection of all the shorts they've watched, and Teenagers from Outer Space. And the only one I've seen in this one is Gunslinger, and it was pretty funny. So I'm looking forward to watching those. 10.2, which when they released Volume 10, they lost the rights to one of the, I can't remember if it was a Gamera movie or if it was a Godzilla movie, but they lost the rights to it. So they had to recall the box set, and then they re-released this with, instead of, I think it was Gamera versus something, but they released it with Giant Gila Monster, Swamp Diamonds, which is pretty funny, Teenage Strangler, which you have to watch the episode of Teenage Strangler just to see the performance of the guy who plays Mickey in this, because you won't even be able to fathom how this kid got cast. And then another great, fantastic episode, The Giant Spider Invasion. Picked up, what is this, Volume 12, which has the Rebel set, which I've never seen. Secret Agent Super Dragon, that's a fantastic title. I've never seen that one, so I can't wait to watch that. Starfighters, never seen that one. Hopefully I'll get to watch that sometime this weekend. And Parts the Clonus Horror, which Parts the Clonus Horror is an interesting movie, because if you've seen the Michael Bay film The Island, it's the exact same movie. And the people that made Parts, the Clonus Horror, actually sued the makers of The Island and won an out-of-court settlement. Because, if you watch this and then you watch The Island back-to-back, exact same fucking movie. They just changed the name from America in Parts, the Clonus Horror, to The Island. And that's pretty much all they do. And then they throw in like some computer, whiz-bang. And that's all they really do. But fantastic stuff. And then I picked up Volume 26, which has The Magic Sword, Alien from L.A., Danger Death Ray, and one of my favorite episodes, The Mole People. I started watching this show, I really started watching it in Season 8 when it went to the Sci-Fi Channel, because I didn't have Comedy Central. And I just fell in love with it, and then I had to go back and watch all these old episodes. My entry point was with Mike, so Mike will always be my host. And Joel, I find funny in certain episodes, but sometimes I don't really care for Joel. But I'm going to try to get all the box sets. Now, there's one box set that I probably won't get, which is Volume 9. And for some reason, it went out of print like almost immediately after it came out. And they go for I think that box set goes for like $150 online to buy it used. And really the only episode, there's episodes in it that I haven't seen, but it had Incredibly Strange Creatures in it, and I wanted that episode. So when Shout Factory released this single disc, it literally saved my bacon, because this is just so bizarre. But I'm going to save really my talk about Mystery Science Theater for hopefully an eventual video that I do where I talk about the series itself and sort of my love for it. But that is it for this pickups video. So I have a few things. I'm still planning on doing the collection video updates, where I go through the entire collection again. It's just, once I get sort of started in that, I'm sort of locked into it. And, just looking around, seeing all the games and all the different videos I'll be making for that, it's just, it's a lot of work. And then, of course, I still need to do my game room tour, but I don't know, I just feel like my game room is, too plain Jane to put on YouTube, and, I don't know, compared to like other people's game rooms and their collections, you know, sometimes I watch people's game room tours and I'm like, dude, someone needs to set you down and talk to you about having a problem. And then there are people that come in here and think they need to talk to me about having a problem. But my game room is pretty modest compared to some out there, and it just seems too plain Jane. But maybe I'll do it eventually, who knows. But that is it for this. I'm going to put this stuff on the shelf and probably go watch some Mystery Science Theater or play Bioshock Infinite. Haven't really figured it out yet. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.